Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and I am so excited to be celebrating 10 years of meaningful conversations with you. As we step into our new primetime hour, it's such an honor to share this exciting new chapter with you. So whether you're starting your day out, headed to work, or listening from wherever you are, this hour is designed to bring you thoughtful dialogue, fresh insight, and inspiring stories so you can make every moment count. So thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive in. We're here today with special guest, Amber Vilhauer, who's here to share with us her new book, What Nature Teaches Us, a book about being the light. What if the greatest lessons you and your child will ever learn are waiting just outside your door? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. Amber Vilhauer is the CEO and founder of NGNG Enterprises, otherwise known as No Guts, No Glory, an NIC 500 top marketing agency in the country. Since starting her boutique agency in 2007, Amber has supported thousands of entrepreneurs on 6 continents, specializing in branding websites that convert, marketing strategy that draws in qualified leads, and overall business growth consulting, including bestseller book launches. So welcome to the show, Amber Vilhauer.
Thank you, Marianne. I'm really loving the content that you're putting online and feel like this is going to be a very aligned conversation.
Oh my goodness, without a doubt. Well, I just love your book. I mean, as soon as I picked it up, I was like, oh my goodness, we need to talk. And so with your new book, this grew out of a conversation I understand that you had with your 9-year-old son. What was the moment you realized that this was just more than a children's book, but as a message adults needed to hear too?
Yeah. Well, when Clay was 6 years old, he came into the kitchen when I was making pancakes and announced, "Mom, I want to write a book." And I listened. And that summer, we wrote his first book, The Long Forest Trail, and we made it a #1 bestseller on Amazon, and it won 3 book awards. And he had about 15,000 copies in distribution. And when he was 8, he said, "Mom, I want to do it again." So I did the same thing as I did the first time. I took to the trail. We live in northern Colorado by the Rocky Mountain Forest, and so we hike a lot. And there's really no manual for your 6 or 8-year-old, like saying, "I want to write a book." And I just trusted my intuition on the trail. And for this particular book, I would look around at the different elements, Marianne, like the sun, the trees, the rocks, the flower. And I would ask Clay, for example, "Buddy, what do you think the sun is modeling for us that would teach us how to be better people in the world?" And he would answer, and we went on these walks for a year. And, what came out of it, Marianne, like it was definitely not a children's book. It's a book for any human at any age asking any life question. It's written more like almost a poetry book, maybe 5 lines per element. That is really what nature taught us about how to be better people in the world.
Well, I love your subtitle, A Book About Being the Light. What does that mean to you?
So when Clay was a baby, his very first word in life was light. And that is when I knew, wow, this kid is something. Like he is going to have a big life full of love and impact. And I need to do everything that I can to nurture whatever wants to emerge from him. When we were writing the first book, we were all done with writing. And I said, "Hey, buddy, what do you think the dedication should be to your book?" And he's 6. And he's like, what's a dedication? So we rip out all the books out of his little bookshelf. And, they're like, "Oh, to my niece and nephew, to my wife and kids." And he thought about it for a few weeks and came back and said, "I know the dedication, Mom." And I said, "Well, okay, what is it?" And he said, "Be the light." And it just took my breath away. And so in the dedication in the book, it says to kids and parents around the world, be the light. And when we then came to write What Nature Teaches Us, He said, Mom, this time I want it to be even bigger. And I want to create a movement called Choose the Light, so that people can be really better and help other people in the world. And I've just got to tell you, I'm blown away by his heart and his wisdom, Marianne. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I am too. My goodness. I mean, what a profound young man. And so, what even inspired him along this process about wanting to write a book?
Yeah, that's a good question because, I've been launching books for almost 20 years with my company, NGNG Enterprises, which stands for No Guts, No Glory. And so the funny thing about this is though, he'd never really understood what I did for work. It was easy with his dad because his dad's a firefighter, right? But like with me, it's even hard for my family and friends to understand what I do. And so I did wonder, was I rubbing off on him? But no, it turns out that he was getting ready while I was making pancakes and he was looking through his favorite book at the time, Dragons Love Tacos. And he noticed that on the book, there was a gold sticker that said it was a New York Times bestseller. And he thought, I want to do that. So he runs downstairs and announces he wants to write a book. I mean,
Oh my
so thank
gosh.
you to that author.
That is just so precious. I just love that. It just the inspiration's always so you hear from young minds that are so inspired to do things. And this book is just so well written. You could see that it's all coming together for him.
Yeah, books are incredibly important. And I know that, the world of authorship has a little bit of a question mark around it right now because you see a lot of authors writing books with AI. You see publishers that don't want to publish books written by AI, and it's expensive to launch a book and it's challenging and it takes a lot of effort and time. And even that is challenging for the average person right now. But I have to tell you on this campaign trail, I just really hope that people continue to keep books alive and especially for kids. Watching Clay really trust himself, trust his voice, and see a project through and watch as community supports him. I mean, these are things that are building his character and his morals and his values for the rest of his life. So I really hope that people take that away to consider writing that book, get it out in the world.
Well, it sounds like he has the perfect parents to make this happen too. Well, and especially with how I mean, you guys go outside, go hiking. Colorado, I love Colorado. It's got some of the most beautiful hiking anywhere I've ever been. And I understand that you say that nature has been quietly teaching us about life's most important lessons all along. Why do you think we've become so disconnected from these lessons, and what have we forgotten?
I really do think technology has played into this. And I'm not going to go into, bashing social media and all of that. But when you really think about it, it really encouraged us to be more productive. And the more productive we were, the more we had to, earn more. And then inflation happened. And then all of a sudden, there was just all of this pressure on each of us to do more faster and faster and faster, which the human spirit, I mean, we can only do so much. That's not the way we were built originally. I would also add that when COVID happened, it's my belief, Marianne, that it was such a shock, not just the disease itself, but what happened to family and work and the world. And it was never really fully addressed. And so we sort of were just supposed to compress our feelings and go back to work. But then when AI came out, there was more, and then government changes and world wars and all of these things. And we've never really taken the appropriate time to process. And if you take the two combined, I believe the average person right now is just in a state of freeze. Like what do I even do with my life right now? How do I parent my kids? And we're not quite yet at the place where we can openly talk about it and come together as a collective and create the global solution. We're still sort of isolating in our homes and our families or alone and just thinking like, what am I going to do? What is my situation? How do I navigate my life? And so it is really causing some disconnection and separation. And I just know that whenever Clay and I go out on trails, I tend to just shift. I'm no longer in a hyper vigilance. I'm not in a freeze state. I just feel like my nervous system relaxes, which is why I'm practically addicted to going out as much as I can. And when I can't get out on the trails, I have actually redesigned my backyard. I even bought houseplants, anything to get nature to come to me so that I could have that same feeling of just calm. And I also would say that, when I'm looking at a tree, it's so still or it's swaying with its neighbors and community. And there's just, I don't know, I guess I learned how to be a more inquisitive person because I would think, man, this has to be teaching us something. I mean, it's too magnificent of a design just to be random.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the more I started like digging into it, the more I started thinking like, wow, what if it's been quietly trying to teach us all along and we just haven't really woken up to it enough yet? So I don't know. I feel like we're sitting on the start of something really profound here.
Well, and I've always been fascinated, especially when we talk about like aspen trees and how it's one organism.
I
And
know.
it blows me away. It's like, what do you mean? This whole forest is one organism, and it's so profound to see that.
Yeah. Or that, like, really, it's all made up of stardust. And when I even just think of that, that unites the entire world. And I don't know, I wish more people would consider that. When we were writing the book, we were reflecting on the rainbow. And we came across this line that was one color does not get brighter by darkening another.
Oh my
And
God.
that just hits me so deeply because we have so much judgment and so much contention and entitlement. And, I recently, literally just last week, Marianne took Clay to Spain for 3 weeks and we walked the Camino de Santiago. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but
Hmm.
it's a pilgrimage and it was about 100 kilometers that we walked in a matter of days. And what struck me is that you have people on the trail from literally every country you can think of, speaking different languages, different behaviors, different skin colors. And yet we all had a common purpose, which was to walk to Santiago. And it was remarkable how well people took care of each other, lifted each other up. Every time you pass a pilgrim, you say, Buen Camino. And it's like this harmony. And I just couldn't help but think, like, man, how can we get that everywhere? I mean, I know that's probably high thinking, but that's me.
What a beautiful example that we can live up to. One of the things I really appreciate about this book is it had so many beautiful themes in it. The rivers, the mountains, trees, I mean, even the clouds that they're here to teach us something. Can you share one or two of your favorite examples and how they've shaped your own life?
Absolutely. You mentioned the cloud, and I just happen to have the book here. So it says, the cloud can hold heavy things and still move forward, carries what the world needs exactly to the right place, knows it's okay to drift for a while, always changing shapes, always in motion, never staying stuck. And I think that's a pretty important page right now. And then I'll reflect one other element to you. But there are a lot of people that are just carrying so much weight, either financial weight or pressure. The economy is changing, family, aging parents, parenting, you name it. I mean, we're all experiencing a lot right now. And the cloud is just drifting, holding the weight of the rain, and it's moving forward and it's going to be okay. And it's changing shapes. And I think about how much we change in our own lives and what we carry forward. And there's something about that I just find relief in. And then the other one that I would reflect is the sun does not choose who or what to warm, shines on everything all the time, never runs out of energy because giving is what it was made to do, sits undisturbed even while the solar system spins around it. Everything grows because of it. And, I feel like sometimes we are very guarded. We hide our hearts. We've experienced pain in the past or we might have judgment of other people depending on their political choices, their religious choices, etc. And I look at the sun and it really does help me to see that you still have the choice. You have the choice to warm everyone you come across and shine on everyone all the time. And also that it can feel like things are moving around you chaotically. That's a lot of energy moving around the sun. And yet here it is just sitting still and doing its job. And I don't know, it honestly offers me a lot of comfort. And the last thing I would say, Marianne, is that, in daily life, especially as a single mom CEO, in any given moment, it's like, where is the highest place to put my intention in this moment? Because there's 500 things that I need to get accomplished that day. And there's something about the sun that really helps me to just stay anchored and to remember, what to do in a moment and how to stay focused and not to get lost in, the fragmented sea of all of the things that I should be doing. So honestly, I'm the book's biggest fan. I read it all the time.
I can understand why. How were these? I mean, it really is like poetry, but it's at the same time it's just really profound wisdom. How was this developed? Was it something you and Clay worked on together? Did he come up with this? I mean, how did this come together?
It was tricky, very, very, very tricky because, as an 8-year-old, you only have so much time that you have his attention and he actually wants to participate, so he might give you a fragmented answer here or there, but then he wants to move on and go play and do something else. And I just got very good at documenting his answers. And I tried to just hold on to the fragments and trust that eventually it would all come together. And it did. The second thing I would say is that I was very disciplined about not wanting to change his original answers, which came with its own set of difficulty at times, kind of stringing everything together. But I really wanted to preserve his wisdom, what was true for him. And I would say I did add maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30% to it myself, just because I had my own reflections through 40 plus years of life that he wouldn't have had as an 8-year-old, but I still felt were really important to bring into the book. So he wrote most of it, if you can believe it. I shaped it. Then he would go through and he was very critical. He was like, I don't like this word. I want to change it to that word. And so we went through the editing process. Then I hired a professional editor. Then we sent it to 35 beta readers. And it was then just in April of this year, 2026, the beta readers went nuts for this book, Marianne. And they said, this is not a children's book. And you cannot just do a normal launch. Like this book has wings. It needs to move in the world. And I thought, really? Like it wasn't just in my head. I'm not biased as the mom. And all of a sudden, Disruption Books got a hold of it out of New York. And they said, we want this book. And I said, really? And one thing led to another. And now we are charging toward an October 13th release date.
Oh my goodness. That is just so amazing how that journey's come together. What has Clay really taught you about curiosity and wonder and paying attention that surprised you?
Just not to interrupt the process, probably more than anything. As an adult, I feel like I've been through so much, a lot of struggle and pain like everybody else. And I think as a strategist, I'm trying to strategize and outwit life somehow, like which doesn't work, by the way. Life has its own plans for you. But there is this strategic part of my mind that, I've had to compartmentalize when it comes to the wonder of the world and just really being open to anything, not trying to make an assumption or guess the ending of the movie, but just really sit with it and appreciate it and let it linger, sort of like you're opening up a fine wine. And he's so honest and pure. He doesn't know what adults know, and therefore the wisdom, the things that come out of him are just pure, unfiltered. And it's one of my favorite things about talking to him. In fact, I even restructured my company and my schedule to make sure that when I have time with Clay, I'm not interrupted, it wasn't an overnight thing to do. But what I was very clear on is I want to spend as much time as I can getting to know his inner world now. Because it's an incredible source of wisdom that has really shaped my life. So we're pretty close.
It sounds like you both are. My goodness. I want to dovetail with something that we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. And you kind of mentioned just about how so many people are so busy and we're overwhelmed and we're doing so many things. So, how can reconnecting with nature, even in small, everyday ways, help us cultivate more peace, resilience, and presence?
I can't say that I exactly understand how it works, Marianne, but if you just sniff a flower, let's say, and you might have had experience with this, you smell a flower and instantly something changes in your body. So I can't speak to the science of it, but I know it to be true. When I smell a pine tree, when I look up at the clouds, all of a sudden I just notice my entire physical body relax automatically. Where I get in trouble is when I'm not aware of that and I'm just in my inbox, I'm on my phone, I'm in my car, I'm rushing to the next thing, I'm not paying attention. So, the best thing that we can do is train ourselves to just take a moment. I'm not even asking for this to be your morning routine for an hour and a half. I mean, honestly, even in this moment to the listeners, wherever you are, if you're driving, just take a quick peek, I mean, carefully at, at a cloud and notice the difference that you feel as opposed to just thinking in your head about what you have to do when you get home and you didn't get this done at work. And then what are you going to tell your spouse? And then, oh, shoot, I forgot to call my mom. I think we miss life in just the doing and the thinking of it all. And even in a few seconds, you'll notice oh, that moment of the exhale, the shoulders relax. And honestly, in a split second, you can almost feel like everything's going to be okay even though your brain will try to convince you out of it the next second. If you whatever you think about grows, so if you can just kind of try to expand that moment of relaxation, then you'll get 3 seconds of it and then you'll get 30 seconds of it. And it's just like going to the gym. I think it's just going to take some consistency, but we all need something like this as an antidote to the pressures of our everyday economy right now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And for those that are, tuning in and listening, what is one way that they can start seeing nature as a teacher rather than just, pretty things that we're driving by? What's one simple practice you'd like to share with us?
Well, I mean, with clay, it just started as what do you think the sun is modeling for us that teaches us how to be better people? It could have been, I wonder what that tree could teach me about how to resolve the conflict with my spouse. Or I wonder what this flower could teach me that would give me an idea for my work presentation. I mean, it really could be whatever challenge you are presently, considering. What's the nearest nature element? Is it the ocean? Is it a rock? Is it a bug? What is it? And just ask a simple question. I wonder what that bug could represent or what the bug would tell me about what to do with this challenge. I know that might sound really elementary, but you will be shocked at what comes out of you. And I also promise you that you'll never look at nature's elements differently ever again. I mean, it's amazing how much I will look at an element now and think of a passage in the book, and it just instantly brings me peace. It redirects me. It gives me a solution. I find joy within seconds. So maybe some of those might help.
What do you hope readers and our listeners carry away with them after reading what nature teaches us?
Oh, perhaps the importance of really being honest with yourself about how you feel every day. And I think a lot of people have actually grown into trying not to feel because it's just too much to feel. But what I would wish for every single person that I ever know or interact with is to enjoy life. I mean, this is our one and only life as much as we know. And it's so beautiful and so big and so full of possibility. And I know that your situation might be really tough and full of constraints. And believe me, I'm a person that understands that intimately. And, we still have a responsibility for how we get to feel every single day. And I just know that I'm a person that wants to feel energetic. I want to feel strong. I want to make sure, Marianne, that no matter how much betrayal or grief or suffering or whatever I've been through, that my heart can still stay open. I can still stay in service, that I'm not hardened. And so perhaps it is an opportunity walking away from this segment to really consider what more could be done so that you feel like you have joy. What more could be done to get out into nature and to bring your family, your friends out in it with you, or bring it to you and just buy a potted plant for your backyard and really enjoy watering it and giving it sunshine. And what is it teaching you as it blooms? These are very simple things that can have a profound difference in your life.
My goodness, Amber. I mean, what an inspiration both you and Clay are. And I've already pre-ordered my copy of the book and highly suggest that everyone do the same. Where can our listeners go so they can get their own copy, because I'm not sharing, and be part of your community?
Yes, please. That would mean so much because Clay has some big goals for impact. You can go to choosethelight.com and everywhere books are sold. We love when people visit the website because it is stunning. It is such a beautiful website. But also Clay has a little mini course on there that teaches other kids how to write, publish, and launch their own best-selling children's book with an activity kit. It's super cool. We're also going on a 6-state tour. So maybe we could see you in person and do a signing and a photo or something. But nonetheless, I just really want to connect with people through this experience. So if something resonated with you in this interview, no matter who you are, I wish you would reach out and let us know what came up for you, and we'd love to connect.
Well, Amber, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Marianne. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you, Amber. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, What Nature Teaches Us, a book about being the light. Make sure to visit their website at choosethelight.com for more information on their work and also to pre-order your own copy. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.